Happy Saturday, everybody, and welcome into another edition of On the Record presented by CalledIt. I'm Danny Burke, your host, and we are happy to be with you for the next half hour or so as we discuss some of the most exciting conversations surrounding the World Cup final, awards market, and just other unique markets you could trade on these prediction platforms, i.e., what will these announcers say? Yes, you can trade the yes or no on that. And there are some certain phrases that stand out and may offer some value. So we'll get the thoughts of Adam Kaufman, Maya Campion, as they'll be joining alongside momentarily to see what phrases they would trade there. We'll also pick their brains about the daily call. We discussed that yesterday with Cormac and Stephanie Odie about the daily call that was released from the crew at CalledIt that's not only used as the daily call that can be accessed at the website www.calledit.media. All you got to do is put in your email, completely free, and you get a full synopsis of the daily call, and you can also log your own opinion, whether you agree or you disagree, and then you can see how you stack up amongst the rest of our community members if you are at the top of the list. But it will also be utilized for our challenge that we call the run, where we look to put $250 down on a trade and roll it over continuously 12 times over until the ideal goal is reached of just a simple amount of $1 million. So that will be another part of the topic of conversations that will be hit on today. We'll also discuss which player that both Maya and Adam believe have been the best throughout the World Cup and tie that along with the Golden Ball winner and if they believe there's any value to be had in that market. So a lot to be discussed. We are happy to be with you here on this Saturday morning. For us here in the States, for Maya at least, across the pond though, she's got the afternoon time, so it's not quite bright and early for Maya. And Maya, we were talking a little bit before the show because the last we were on, it was before your England squad had that tough loss against Argentina. So I want to give you the platform here for a little bit to, let it all out. Anything you need to say, how you're holding up. I'm happy to see, you're looking great. Everything's fine. It seems like you're holding up
Yeah.
reasonably well.
I mean, it was just devastating. We spoke about it last time I was on here, saying that it's just been generational hurt. So unfortunately, England did not get the win. I've been boycotting football. There haven't been any games since, but still. But unfortunately, there are a lot of Argentina shirts around, so I have to think about it a lot. It's been tough. It's been tough.
You're just clenching your fists every time you see
Yeah,
that Argentina
yeah,
jersey.
exactly. A 7-year old in a messy shirt, and I'm like, oh, it's horrible.
She is Maya Campion again, folks, at Maya.pitchside, where you can catch her on Instagram. Plenty of great coverage coming from her for the World Cup final in just a few moments. And also on the other side, we've got Adam Kaufman, East Coast Live of the United States, is where he's posted right now at Adam M. Kaufman. Adam, how we doing, brother?
Maya, what's 4 more years? You've waited this long. What's another four? It's not that big a deal. England will
It's
get there. England
actually
will have its time.
it's two because we also have hope for the Euros. So as long it's as big as the
Sure.
World Cup, but
I mean,
still
means
2 years.
exactly the
It's
same
tough.
thing.
Yeah, yeah,
She's coping just a little bit, Adam.
Look,
yeah.
I mean, she talks about generational, and I realize for England it's generational hurt, generational pain. For me, on the other side, with no real dog in the fight the way she does, obviously, United States is long since gone. Not that there were any real expectations for the Americans to do anything truly meaningful within this tournament. I'm just watching the generational talent that is Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it's not even generational talent, it's all-time talent. Just a little spoiler as to Danny, you alluded to maybe a little bit later on. We talk about most impressive performances within this tournament. This dude, I am just so excited to be able to watch him one more meaningful time here within this thing. And I'm fascinated by what the result means. Not to put the cart ahead of the horse, but Maya, Danny, I want to know if Argentina wins this thing, and that's back-to-back World Cups for Messi at that point, cementing his place as the GOAT in soccer. I mean, to me, there's no debate anyway, but you're removing any and all nitpicking from that equation for people that, oh, Ronaldo, what's Ronaldo won? Really, it's Messi. And we all know it's Messi. But does he ride off into the sunset? Does he say pushing 40, I'm good, I'm out, can't get any better than that? If they lose and he's still playing the way he's playing, maybe wins the Golden Boot, does he say, All right. I mean, maybe not an announcement, but internally, 4 more years. I could still do this in 4 years. I got that Tom Brady ageless quality. I'm curious to see how all this plays out.
Yeah. And I know, hey, we didn't necessarily plan this, but it's a good topic of conversation, Adam. And Maya, we were talking about this on a show maybe a week ago. I don't know if you were on per se, but just to get your 2 cents briefly on that, what do you expect to happen based on the result with Messi in his future?
I mean, I think that this will be his last World Cup. He doesn't have the same mentality, I think, as Ronaldo, in the sense of he knows when it's time to call it a day. I think that it's a higher chance that Ronaldo will be in the next one. But yeah, like you said, at his age, to still be dictating games, to be creating the chances he does, and to lead Argentina in talent and also in experience, it's incredible. It's, as much as I hate Argentina right now, it has to be said.
All right, fair enough. There you go. You heard it from Maya. Messi most likely will not be in the next World Cup. Ronaldo having a better chance. That would be something, wouldn't it? But maybe it wouldn't surprise too many people. What may surprise some people, though, is what the daily call is, guys, for the World Cup final between Spain and Argentina. Let's pull up the screen right here at Kalshi. You can see just the outright market. Spain is trading at 59%, coming out to minus $1.55 American odds. Argentina right below it, just under 42%, plus 130 on the yes to win this championship game. But if you look toward the right, you can see over 1.5 second half goals is the trade that was made for the daily call by the crew at CalledIt. Now, they traded it a couple days ago at 44%. Currently, it's at 43% or plus 123 American odds. They believe the true chances should be as high as 48%. So a huge discrepancy from where the team has it versus where the market currently has it. And again, folks, this is going to be put the $250 investment for the challenge the run on the second half over 1.5 goals. Maya, let's start with you. Do you think there are going to be goals scored in the second half and that this is going to come through?
Yeah, I think we spoke about it last time I was on, but naturally you see that teams are a lot more conservative in the first half, but managers have been much quicker to use their benches, with 5 substitutions available. The final 30 minutes are played at a much, much higher intensity than they are in the first half. And Spain have consistently worn down teams with the possession and creating these late chances. And Argentina, I mean, they've done it just continuously, these late goals where you think the game is over, it has to be over, and then they score two, back to back. Unfortunately, we were a victim of that Argentina tactical decisions, but it's definitely highly likely. I think that there's going to be chances on both ends, and the second half is always more likely to produce goals than the first half.
Adam?
So is it possible I don't like this trade, and yet my answer is also yes? Because that's kind of how I feel. I think when just sort of examining expectation for this match, and Maya hit on a lot of this, Spain has been just so incredibly good and has this stranglehold on you defensively, controlling possession and just milking clock, not allowing opponents to get in any sort of attacking rhythm. Now, not every opponent, not every country is created equal. We know that, but in some cases, I mean, look at France last time out. That's a strong attacking offense, and yet couldn't do anything. I mean, at all. And so I look at Spain and just say, boy, we've seen 2 second half goals, multiple second half goals in one of their matches. This is a group that has allowed only 1 goal the entire tournament. So if we're getting multiple second half goals, do I think Spain is going to be involved? Maybe with 1, in all likelihood, not 2. I think the way this starts, and again, going back to what Maya said, I think it opens up in the second half. I think you're probably going to get a scoreless draw in the opening half with very few chances on either side. Hell, it might be another game that you don't see any official shots on target for either country. And it's just sort of a long, drawn out, intense feel out process that for the American audience watching on Fox is going to be, watching paint dry, pull my hair out. This is why people like soccer. Oh my God, this is painful, that kind of thing. But you get to the second half, and especially we've seen it now time and time again with Argentina. We saw it with the last 5 matches, we've gotten multiple second half goals across Argentina's games. Most notably, of course, it begins with the Cape Verde comeback, winning that in extra time. And then you get what happened against, who was it after that? Egypt, obviously, the 3 goals in the final 15 minutes of regulation to win that thing. And then, as we know, Switzerland, of course, England. And so Argentina, Messi like Thanos, Danny, inevitable. There's no stopping this guy. There's no stopping this team late. And so as low scoring of a match as I do ultimately think it's going to be, I will be a little bit surprised if we don't get multiple second half goals. I think it's scoreless up front, and then come the second half, that's when you get your 2 or 3.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Mom.
I think that teams have tried to tactically counter the way that Argentina have been playing. Even you saw England, that they essentially had 8 defenders in the final minutes of the game. I don't know if that was the best decision. Not to say I'm the one who should be making managerial decisions for England, but it definitely invites that pressure. And with a team like Argentina, you cannot allow them those chances. So Spain, like Adam said, very, very strong defensively. It's going to be a very, very, very good game because you have a very strong defensive side attacking unbelievable Argentina, but when they want to be, when they want to just shift into that higher gear, then they play, and it's incredible to watch.
You can't just park the bus defensively against the team. I mean, that's what happened with England.
Yeah.
England, did so much play to win as played not to lose, and it bit them.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys. And Adam, I think you kind of put it nicely when you said, like, you don't necessarily like it, but you don't want to say no on this. Like, I kind of had that sort of sentiment. But yesterday, and I'll stick to what I was saying. I mean, I was a contrarian here, and I went against the call if I have to put myself on the record, which, of course, is the theme of the show. So I'm willing to do it because my heart says Messi in Argentina, and Maya, as she knows, I've been, rooting for Argentina throughout this World Cup, and Messi, and Adam, a little bit too, but obviously it was before the last game. Maya and I were butting heads, but my head is telling me Spain here. I mean, they control the ball so well. It's impossible to ignore how dominant that defense has been, only allowing 1 goal, as you mentioned, Adam, and France, who is considered one of the best attacks of all time, from our very own Cormac. I was giving him a little bit of grief yesterday because he said that, and then he was saying that, oh, this defense isn't as good, and, the specific players. I won't go into all of it, but my point is I'm willing to show that respect to Spain and saying that if Spain does go up 1-0, Argentina is not going to be able to play the old same song and dance and get away with it. And people kept saying they won't be able to get away with it time and time again in all these matchups. But to me, it's a completely different beast with just how outstanding this Spain defense is, to where I could see it being 0-0 second half. Spain goes up 1-0. Could end 1-0. Could end 2-0. But, and then obviously you hit it there if it's in the second half. But either way, I think if Spain goes up, I think it's over for Argentina, and I get it. Don't count out the GOAT. I've been saying it all tournament long. But truly, the Spain team just seems once in a lifetime, perhaps, with how great their defense is.
It's going to be an unbelievable matchup for sure, regardless.
Well, I got to hold you guys to a final opinion. So I said my heart's with Messi and Argentina, but my head, where I'm probably going to be trading, is with Spain. Adam, who do you believe is going to win it? Let me pull up what the probabilities are right now. 59% for Spain, the yes -155. Argentina just under 42%, +130. If you got to put your stamp on some team, which one is it?
Yeah, listen, if you're investing, if you're putting real money on this, if you like money, I understand the consensus. People out there believe Spain, 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 Spain. It should be Spain. There is just something. I'm not going to call it Cinderella story kind of thing. That was more Norway. If Norway had gotten by and continued playing, the longer odds team. These are a group of, these final 4. I know we're down to 2, but the final 4 kind of all in that favorites conversation. But what I will say is there's a little bit of a team of destiny kind of thing going on with Argentina right now, with these late, heroic, improbable, insane comebacks that we have seen with everything on the line in the knockout rounds. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to back Argentina here, not only obviously for the value in the number, but because Messi seems undeniable. I don't know how you stop him. I don't know how you kill the GOAT until you actually do.
All right, Maya. Now, do we get a pick from you from your heart or your head here with this decision?
Both. I think that you can only leave it until the final minutes to play so many times, and I think that the luck is gone. Like, they it really looked like they were going to lose to Egypt, and then time and time again they bring it back, and I think that it's not going to be like that in the World Cup final. And I think that the general consensus from football fans is that they're not very happy with Argentina,
Right.
and people are saying that if Spain win, then football wins. So yeah, you're actually going against the majority of people, I think, at the moment. But my heart and my head are with Spain.
All right.
Argentina's got the lucky rabbit's foot. This is the horse you up Easter situation right now.
Could be, could be. Can't wait to see either way. Adam riding with Argentina, Maya and I looking toward the Spaniards, and of course the daily call with the second half over 1.5 goals. I'm the odd duck out there. These two both siding with the daily call over 1.5 in the second half between Spain and Argentina. But guys, you can also trade. Of course, you can also trade on other markets. But did you know that you could trade on markets such as what will the announcer say during the FIFA World Cup final? This I always find fascinating because even for some games that aren't the biggest, I mean, just some decently large spots, you can still be trading on this. It is truly fascinating which games it is. But here you go. You got like comeback at 92%, VAR at 79%, shutout at 77%. Maya was already saying not necessarily a broad term in her neck of the woods, but this is for the Fox broadcast. Keep in mind handball, nutmeg, Shakira, Bieber doing the halftime, Trump.
Right.
The list goes on and on and on. Adam, you've had plenty of announcing experience yourself, so I imagine you're the right man for this right out of the gate. Is there anything in this market that could be worth an investment?
It's funny you say the shutout thing because I agree with Maya. I think, yeah, we're probably going to hear it on the American audience, the Fox broadcast. That being said, not that I have called a World Cup, but like you said, with announcing experience, I think what you do tend to try and do is cater to your audience to a degree. And
Mm-hmm.
so, if it were me, like if I were on the call for the World Cup even for an American audience on Fox, I probably would be going out of my way internally anyway. Now you might slip and say shutout, but internally, I think I'd be trying to say clean sheet just to stay in line with the terminology of the sport. So I say all of that just to say I'm not sure that shutout is a free square here. I'm not sure that's just automatic money. I would approach that one with a little trepidation. But some of the others, again, it depends what you want to invest, right? If you're spending on words that you're associating with 92, 94, 96%, like you're not getting much of a return there, obviously, on those investments. So I'm not sure, even if they feel like automatic money, in the same way that everybody was investing in Spain against, Cape Verde. I'll remind people how much money people lost on that when we got the scoreless draw. I'm not so sure that I want to go high end, where you've scrolled down here,
Yeah.
Danny. I think some of these others are a little bit more intriguing. It's just, like Golden Boot at 53.
I like that one.
Feels like a no-brainer investment because, again, Mbappe, who's going to play prior in the third place game, is even right now. He's going to be chasing the Golden Boot. I know the finishing third place isn't necessarily pivotal for France, but I bet Mbappe would like to get that Golden Boot. So he's going to be chasing that. He's going to be trying to score once or twice today. And then whether he's trailing or whether he's still even, Messi absolutely will have that on his mind. It doesn't, it's not more important than winning. Obviously, he'll be looking to set goals up as much as he will be trying to score them himself. Ultimately, it's just get that trophy. But it's going to be a relevant talking point for the broadcast crew. So you start to look for some value there into the low 50s, basically pick 'em type investments. I think Golden Boot's a strong one.
I completely agree. That's what I had marked down. My was golden boot, and then I also had penalty kick at minus 149. I guess you're certainly rolling the dice a little bit more, and maybe you just trade on in the game to actually have a penalty kick, and that's probably better value than laying the minus 149. So maybe that's the best strategy to implement there. What do you like, Maya? Anything that stands out for you?
Yeah, I think penalty kick is also quite American terminology for commentators. Like usually we just say, "Oh, is it going to penalties?" or the player will take a penalty. The one for me that I was so surprised that if you scroll all like if you continue scrolling down, it's MetLife.
Mm,
Hmm.
And like, that's the one that they're gonna mention as soon as the game starts. The World Cup final at the MetLife. It's the opening. You could be saying it coming back from halftime, building up to the trophy presentation. They're gonna keep reminding viewers of the settings. So that's like the easiest option for me. I was shocked that it was so low down on the list.
so
I agree with that, but I also wonder, we'd have to get into the fine print as it relates to Kalshi, because could this be one of those situations where, the words only count when they're used during gameplay, as opposed to coming in and out of trades or pregame,
Okay.
postgame? Is it, can it just be
right.
said on the broadcast in general, or does it have to be
Okay.
going when players are on the pitch, running around, the clock is
Mm-hmm.
moving? So I think that's, if it can be anytime, I think what you're saying, like, yeah, I mean, that shouldn't be 8%, that should be 95%. But
Exactly.
Yeah, I was
that's where I
shocked.
get into, again, sort of the, because we've seen it. We've seen people lose on, in controversial
That's
ways
me.
when it comes to prediction market evaluation.
Really?
Well, so that's what I was gonna say. I did this when I was telling you guys before the show. What will the announcer say? It was when one of the
Yeah.
matches were at Lumen Field in Seattle, and I was like, "This is a no-brainer. Of course, they're gonna say what stadium they're in." It was graded as a loser, so I imagine either somehow they didn't set the stage, or as Adam's alluding to, perhaps it was in the pregame technically. But you would still think that these announcers coming back from the
Yeah.
rare commercial breaks would be like, "Welcome back into MetLife Stadium," blah blah blah.
Yeah,
But
100%.
yeah, so I'm with you. I had the same thought. A great value. You would think it would be a decent trade, but hey, we talk about it all the time. Maybe throw some pizza money on
Okay.
it. Just
Well, if you're
doing
watching
for fun.
this, don't take my advice. Just
Well, or,
just
the
stay
other
up
thing is
there,
too, and
scroll up.
I haven't paid as much attention to this, I suppose, when watching these matches. I know that, all these in the United States, all these venues have to cover up all their signage, their
Yeah.
sponsored signage, like, Gillette
True.
Stadium became Boston Stadium, that kind of thing.
Right.
LA Stadium as opposed to SoFi. Do the announcers on the broadcast in partnership with FIFA have to follow suit? For instance, do they refer to this as MetLife, or do they refer to this as New York Stadium? I
Yeah.
don't actually know the answer to that.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. They know something that we don't know if it's so low at the bottom of the list of words.
Right.
Well, there are plenty of other phrases that you could trade on here, but I'm with you, Maya. I wish it was as easy as that because again, I literally had that same exact thought. I was like, how is this not gonna cash me out a great price right here? And yeah, I feel like there's a reason it may be a longer shot, but hey, doesn't mean you can't find other words and phrases to trade
True.
on here.
Are there
So
full phrases for like 15 cents? Like, oh my God, Messi, he did it again. Can I invest in that?
there should be. Oh man, yeah, no, that's gonna have to be a new market that they come out with.
That's right.
Verbatim,
Full
a whole
sentences.
sentence. We might have to have Adam start pricing that out himself. Well, guys, we got one more topic that I want to discuss, and I'll flip this over right here, and that's the Golden Ball winner. So obviously different from the Golden Boot. This is going to the best player in the tournament. So I certainly want your thoughts on this market currently. Is there value to be
Hmm.
had? Maybe, maybe not. But I want your own personal opinion for who you believe has been the best player in the tournament. And then obviously want to get your thoughts on if it's either of these guys up here under this category of the Golden Ball winner at Kalshi. Maya, I'll start with you. What do we think for this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about it before, but it has to be Messi. I mean, it's an interesting one because you spoke about the distinction between Golden Boot and Golden Ball, and obviously Mbappe and him are tied at the moment. But it's really just got to be him. I mean, Adam spoke about the discussion, Ronaldo, Messi. I think this World Cup, it's quite clear. The influence he's had every time he steps on the pitch, the whole team seems to play with more confidence when he's involved. And if you watch the England game, I mean, they just worship him like everyone else. As soon as he gets tackled, it's a riot. Like every single player on that field runs over to defend him, and he's just on the ground. And I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think that it really does show the power and the value and the respect that they have for him in that team. Understandably so. For him to be doing what he's doing at his age, it's insane.
Adam?
Look, he's not only the greatest player, and we're talking about all time, he's playing at the highest level among his peers right now. He's got the greatest meme going on social media of anybody that is out there, making the De Niro face after Yamal or whoever it was gotten his, or no, Bellingham gotten his grill and said what he said, turns the whole thing around for Argentina. Look, this dude is incredible. There's a reason that there is no value on this investment whatsoever. I wouldn't trade it 90+%. It just doesn't make sense for your wallet unless, again, you're putting down an enormous wager and getting a tiny, minuscule return. But if that's how you justify trading and spending your money, go for it. We've just seen that backfire on so many people throughout this tournament. I just don't see, looking at that list, who could possibly steal it? I mean, Spain could go out, win that match today. Yamal could have a hat trick, and it still wouldn't be enough to overcome Messi's place within the tournament on the whole. Not in my mind, anyway. I mean, again, Spain is the expected winner today. Independent of individual performances, people believe Spain is going to win. So you don't have this underdog story or something like that. I mean, that, again, it's Argentina. So if Argentina should happen to win this thing, or at the very least, maybe it goes to extra time or PKs and it's, just dragged on a little bit here, then I don't see how it's anybody but Messi. It's kind of, you would have seen plenty of value on this going into the tournament, along the way throughout the tournament. But no, with a couple of matches, really one match left that actually means something, the value is gone. It's been sucked out.
All right. Well, outside of that, in this market that we all agree that Messi is the rightful favorite, who's maybe an honorable mention for you guys as best player in the tournament? Now, it could be a complete long shot in the sense of someone who God eliminated their nation did a while back, but just kind of that unsung hero for you in this tournament, Maya. Does anybody stand out from the usual suspects?
I think that for me, England really, really depended a lot on Harry Kane throughout the tournament, and he really did provide us with those results. He was kind of our Messi in the final minutes that you're like, oh, the game's done, and then he comes out of nowhere, and it was unbelievable. There are some players that I wish had gotten more minutes, to prove that they deserve to be there. Mainu, a specific one. I'm really, really hoping that he gets those minutes. Of course, it's the third place playoff. I know I saw on the show yesterday that Stephanie was saying, what's really the purpose of a third place playoff? And I agree. It's kind of like the loser playoffs. No one wants to be there, but hopefully he gets the chance to prove himself. But I think for England, it has to be Kane.
I thought you were going to say Jude Bellingham when you brought up England, actually, but Harry Kane. Okay.
Yeah, I think that Bellingham has been an incredible player for us, and Kane has also just been that leadership role. He brings the experience. He's obviously, the captaining role, so he offers something else that Bellingham doesn't. But they both, goal-wise, were incredible for us.
Adam, you strike me as your selection for this is going to be Erling Haaland, is where I would put it for you.
You can see right through me, Danny. I was going to say, Maya and I obviously come at this from different angles. She thinking one is a giant soccer fan, and also, again, with some level of England bias, I will say, and I hope I'm not offending Maya when I say this, Kane's performance in that last game offended me. Not even one single shot on target that entire match. That was a real letdown for anyone who maybe investing just a little bit. But
Yeah.
as it relates to everybody else, yeah, I mean, I was thinking about Bellingham just a little bit with the way that he emerged in multiple multi-goal games and all of that, and obviously Mbappe, and just what a thrill it is to watch him, and how, you know, great, how bright his star shines. But from an American standpoint, I'm not sure that anyone's stock
Right.
elevated more than Holland's. You know, I mean, this dude just became this, you know, again, like the Viking hero. You know, he's getting comparisons to Thor. He's out there banging the drum while everybody's rowing behind him, and he's got that. He's affable. He's young. He's funny on social media. He's got that Joker smile. He's he's just everywhere. And even though I realize the guy's not new, he's been playing pro for damn near a decade, whatever it is. A lot of people kind of non-soccer fans stumbled upon this guy in the World Cup and fell in love, and went out and, you know, bought Norway jerseys or Man City jerseys. And it's like Holland, Holland, Holland. And so, you know, I think his popularity grew mightily over the last 5 weeks or so. And I think that has to be the guy.
I think it's so funny because obviously, like, you know, I'm watching Premier League, so we watch him consistently, and he's called the robot because he's like a machine. He's always scoring. But then, like, this past 2 years, he's started to get into this like strange like influencer vlogging style, and now he does like YouTube vlogs of his life, of him going to like, and he's just like a really likable character because he's so funny. And like the pictures of him taking the taxidermy like raccoons or something, have you seen that?
I haven't.
Yeah, I saw that.
But he bought taxidermy raccoons, like drinking from a vodka bottle or whatever, and he's just like, those are the souvenirs that he brought from the US. And he's just like a really likable character. And a lot of football players, you know, they have this very like suave, like Olise, you know, you never know what they're doing. It's very like secretive, very, you know, I'm famous. And Haaland is like, you feel like you're friends with him when you're watching his vlogs on his Instagram. So I like that he's gotten this kind of like positive publicity from the World Cup.
No, I mean, like what's the Harry Kane seems like these are opposite ends of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Like Harry Kane seems like James Bond. Harry Kane seems like that quiet, like you said, suave, sophisticated, you know, man about town, drives a fancy car, he's, you know, whatever it is. And then Holland is like Stifler from American Pie. like he's just a fraternity brother.
Yeah. He's so funny.
That's a perfect example, honestly, Adam. Yeah, Stifler from American Pie, Erling Haaland. I don't see many differences between the two. Oh, good stuff as always, guys. She is Maya Campion, Maya.pitchside, where you can catch her on Instagram. He is Adam Kaufman at Adam M. Kaufman on X. Myself, Danny Burke at Danny Burke5. Appreciate both of you. Enjoy, you know, Maya, enjoy the game today as much as you can with England and France.
Yeah, I'm flying. So I actually will miss the whole game.
Well, it's probably for the best though, right? I mean,
I booked it because I really had that much belief in England that they wouldn't be playing this game. So I actually just booked my flight, and it's a 2-hour flight that falls exactly when the game is being played. So don't worry about me. I won't be watching it.
Fair enough. Well, safe travels, Maya. Adam, best of luck with all your trades as well, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your day. And for everybody else out there as well, appreciate you tuning in as always. Make sure you head to the website, www.calledit.media. Put in your email, sign up, because there you get access to the daily call on the newsletter, actionable information dished out right to your inbox, and you can also voice your opinion and keep your record on the log. You can be anonymous, you can put your name, whatever you want, but hey, it's all competitive and fun at the end of the day, and we want to hear from you. So make sure you head there, and make sure you follow Called It on the social channels, on Twitter, CalledIt_media, Instagram and TikTok, CalledIt.media, and make sure you join us tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, for another Spaces event on X. Myself, Tom McDermott, we are going to be back in the saddle right before the final. So right before Spain and Argentina kick off, we will be hosting a live Spaces session again. So I implore everybody to join. We'll bring you up if you got some thoughts, analysis, questions, anything. It's going to be a fun old time, and we hope we can see you there. So once again, That happening at 1 p.m. Eastern time for the Twitter Spaces. But on Monday, we will be back in the mix, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Adam will be here once again, and then we'll also be joined by Dane Martinez. Should be a good show. So until then, best of luck with all your trades, folks. Enjoy your Saturday, and we will see you on the record.